With that, item C, we have a presentation by VFW Commander Tony Muguru.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Council, thank you. Members of the force, police department, fire department, thank you. Yes, we're here tonight to honor some gentlemen who bring great credit upon themselves, the city of Moore, the fire department of Moore, and the police department of Moore. We're going to do the police department first. Let's see, Sergeant Bryce White, Sergeant Gary Wallace, and Sergeant Eric Thomas. Please come down.
On June 11th, 2020, a vehicle operated by an intoxicated driver caused a head-on collision after it began traveling south in the northbound lanes of Interstate 35. A woman who had been traveling north was pinned inside of her vehicle, which burst into flames. Sergeant Wallace was the first to arrive on scene and sprinted toward the burning vehicle, where he immediately began to extricate the driver. Sergeant Wallace used his baton to break out a window and enlisted the help of nearby motorists to help him free the woman from the actively burning wreckage. Sergeant Thomas and Sergeant White arrived very quickly and came to Wallace's aid. A total of 5 fire extinguishers were exhausted as the officers tried to knock down the intensifying flames. These officers were all standing inches away from flames as they heroically fought to free the driver. Officers would later remark that they were uncertain whether the vehicle was going to explode, as the flames may have reached combustible fluids and vapors. Nonetheless, officers stood by verbally reassuring the injured driver that she would be okay. The driver was eventually pulled from the vehicle and transported for medical treatment. The actions of these officers are truly remarkable. The bravery on display by Sergeant Wallace, Sergeant Thomas, and Sergeant White is deserving of the highest praise. Thanks, sir. Firefighter Grant Rushing. On February 3rd, 2020, off-duty firefighter Grant Rushing saw a Moore Fire Department unit responding to a call. He turned on his scanner to see what they were responding to. They were responding to a tragic scene at Moore High School where several students were hit by a vehicle while running during practice. Once he heard the severity of the call, he responded to the scene. He had to convince the police officers to let him pass the barricade so he could help. Battalion Chief Lance assigned Firefighter Rushing to Engine 4. Firefighter Rushing assisted with treating patients at the scene and then rode with IMSTAT to the hospital to help provide care for one of the victims. He did this while off duty, without protective gear and no concern for his own safety, but to provide care for others. This type of exemplary behavior signifies what we strive for at the Moore Fire Department. His care and compassion for the victims of this horrific event shows what being a public servant is all about. Greg Herbster, Fire Chief, City of Moore, Oklahoma.
Thank you very much. We really do appreciate your service to our community. That would bring us to item number 2, our consent docket. Approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held January 19th, 2021. Accept a 10-foot temporary construction easement and a 17-foot permanent utility easement from Brett and Diana Moose Revocable Living Trust for the construction of a sanitary sewer force main. Approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2020-2021 in the amount of $801,764.64.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call the vote, please.
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Jason Blair? Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes. Motion passes. Bring us to item 3, consider action, receive bids, and consider for approval or rejection, resolution number 98421, awarding $18,900,000 City of Moore, Oklahoma general obligation bonds of 2021 to bidder whose bid is determined to offer the lowest interest cost.
Mayor and Council, this is the bond approval that we put on the ballot, or that we authorized to go out for, and Chris Gander from BOK is here to give us the results.
Yeah, as you all know, we do this every year to maintain the tax rate at a constant level. So with that, our estimated size we need to do is $18.9 million this year. You authorize us to go out and take bids, and that was 2 o'clock today. We received the bids. Cameron is handing out the bid summary. We received 6 bids. The low bid is from Robert W. Baird, Milwaukee, and the rate was .854148. And as you can see, the low, we know it's, we do it opposite, high bid, the most expensive bid, is .04. So pretty tight. I mean, we're 20 basis points between all 6 bids, but .85, yeah, incredibly low. Good time to be borrowing money. This just helps the taxpayers, helps keep the tax rates down, and keeps your ability to issue additional bonds from that authorization next year. So with that, this resolution is saying you will award, we're looking for authorization to award the bonds to Robert W. Baird.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we've had a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Would you call the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes. Item carries. Bring us to item number 4, consider action, approval, or rejection of resolution number 98521, providing for the issuance of general obligation bonds of 2021 in the sum of $18,900,000 by the City of Moore, Oklahoma, authorized at an election duly called and held for such purpose on June 26, 2018, prescribing form of bonds, providing for registration thereof, providing levy and annual tax for payment of principal and interest on same, and fixing other details of the issue.
Mayor and Council, this is just the companion item.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Call for the vote, please.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes. Item carries. Thank you. That brings us to item 5, and I understand that we need to have a motion to table this item.
Mayor and Council, because it's a sales tax note, in order for us to take action on that, there needs to be 5 members present, and there aren't tonight, so just request that we would table this until the next meeting.
Make a motion to table.
We'll need 6.
6? Oh, okay, well, excuse me, 6. So we'll table next meeting and hope we have 6.
Second.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes. Items tabled. Number 6, consider approval of amendment number 1 in the amount of $36,535 with Freeze and Nichols to add services to convert the Northeast 12th Street project to a federally funded project executed through ODOT system, and to add to the Eastern Avenue intersection plans by others to project.
Vice Mayor and Council, originally we began this project last summer. We were looking at just doing a city project, and then we pursued to expand the project by trying to obtain some ACOG funding to be able to add some left turn bays at the intersections and increase the efficiency of the intersections. We were very successful in obtaining an ACOG an ACOG grant in the amount of $7.166 million for the Northeast 12th Street project. If you'll recall, we did incorporate adding the Eastern Avenue intersection into that project so that we could adjust our points to be able to compete for a greater opportunity to obtain the grant. Since we were successful in that, though, our consultants who's doing the design does need it. The project has now become a federally funded project, and it will go through the ODOT process instead of just going through the city process of review and getting the project under construction. They'll have to revise their current sheets that they've done to meet ODOT requirements, facilitate development process through ODOT, additional meetings with ODOT and the city, and then just general coordination with the other design engineer who designed the intersection of Eastern. They're requesting an amendment to increase their contract by $36,535. We would recommend that you approve the amendment number 1.
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Also, I would just like to mention last Thursday at our monthly ACOG meeting, I get to sit on the board of directors for our city. We approved just a little over $10 million worth of other federal projects for our city and things that we're going to be doing. And that is great on the hard work because of Elizabeth and her team and Jerry and Brooke. So
Yeah.
thank you guys,
Thank you guys.
for doing that. And we had a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Item 7 is consider ordinance number 96121, amending Part 7, Chapter 3, Section 7-321, modifying the language describing purchase of revenues and the effective date to termination of the Moore general sales tax and previously approved and voted upon by the citizens of Moore, providing for severability and providing for a repealer.
Vice Mayor and Council, what this item is, and actually the next item also on the agenda, are ordinances that change the language in our code to reflect what was previously voted on and approved by the voters of the citizens of Moore. We ask that this be approved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Okay, would you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Bring us to item 8, consider ordinance number 96221, amending Part 7, Chapter 5, Section 7-519, modifying the language describing use of federal funds from the Moore Hotel Motel Room tax as previously approved and voted upon by the citizens of Moore, Oklahoma, providing for severability and providing for a repealer.
Vice Mayor and Council, I have the same announcement as previously on the last one.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I've had a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Call for the vote, please.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Bring us to item 9, consider approval of a small retailer relief program to be funded from the coronavirus relief funds in the amount of $150,000.
Vice Mayor and Council, I'm very pleased to bring this before you all tonight for your consideration. This is again just an opportunity to help, albeit small, but give a lift to our small retailers within our city limits. On page 80, you have a draft of the proposed application, and pretty thorough, and again, talked to other cities within our metro area and used some best practices and tried to steer clear of some of the things that didn't go so well in some of their projects that they've done earlier on. But I'll answer any questions that you might have.
What's the plan to kind of get this word out to all the businesses?
Great point. So I have about 275 roughly direct mail pieces that were pulled from our finance department. So these were retailers that are in the city limits of Moore that have a mailing address in Moore and are remitting sales tax to us. So it's going to go directly to them. They may not all qualify, but then it's a very clear page of what the qualifications are. So we're getting it in their hands, direct mail, and then immediately doing social media and press releases out. So I think the direct mail will be the most specific, but again, we might not catch everybody with that. So, and again, I'm super excited about the fact that we do have about a month. So once they receive it, should this be approved, they would have about 26 days to take an application and then get it turned back in. So some municipalities really only did that for about 48 hours. Others did it for about a couple of weeks. So I'm happy that we have the length of time that we do.
If we have more people apply than we can fund, which will probably happen, I do have a board that's going to look over these.
One last, what was
Do we
the last
have a board or something that's going to look over these? How are we
Yes,
going to
exactly
choose?
right.
Is
So
it a
there's some
raffle?
vetting opportunities within here just based on the numbers of applications that are approved that come in. And so I would actually defer to our Economic Development Authority, so Councilmember Williams and Councilmember Hunt, just to help with that vetting process with a rubric that's been developed should we need that. So again, the hope would be that we have just about enough that we can fund and they qualify and that's the first benchmark. But if we do need to go in and rank order, then I do have a rubric and some built-in parts of the application which we could kind of work with.
Sounds good. It's exciting stuff.
It is.
Will forms and all that be available on the webpage?
It is. It actually already is, but I haven't published it yet. Just
Okay.
waiting to see that. But yes, once, should this be approved this evening, then I will immediately hit publish, and that is all on the website. So it's a fillable form, but they do have to go ahead and download that, print it off, have it notarized, and then get a Secretary of State, which again, the link is in there. So we've tried it. I've practiced many, many times just as an applicant to make sure that it's a smooth, seamless process. And so hopeful for that. We've done our best to make it that way.
We have easy contact prepared for the ones that struggle.
Easy.
Is there information in there of who they can contact?
Oh,
if they
absolutely.
struggle?
Yes, I am more than, yes.
Okay.
My number's everywhere.
Okay.
Email, phone number, and a lot of different ways in which they can pull that information down and then get it back to us. So it doesn't all have to be electronic. None of it has to be electronic, actually. So we'll work with everybody in any way that we can.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, and I've had a couple of calls about it already. So I
Really?
think it'll be,
Oh, wow.
I guess, people looking at the agenda.
Oh, fantastic.
So I think it'll be
Awesome.
received well. So we had a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Call for the vote, please.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item
Thank you.
carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Deidre.
Thanks.
Item 10 is consider approval of FY 20-21 budget supplement to budget additional funds and related expenses for small retailer relief program.
Vice Mayor and Council, we're requesting approval to budget available CARES Act funds to fund the small retailer relief program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Call the vote, please.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Thanks. Recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 11 is the consent docket. Receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held January 19th, 2021. Approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2020-2021 in the amount of $925,340.65.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Call the vote.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Item 12 is consider adoption of resolution number 24921 of the Trust of the Moore Public Works Authority authorizing an agreement to support by and between the authority and the Moore Economic Development Authority.
Mr. Vice Mayor, we may want to table that one, Brooks. This goes hand in hand with the media sales tax.
Okay. Yes, on advice of our bond counsel, I recommend that we table this until the next meeting.
All right?
And should we table?
Yeah. Second. You take hers, I'll second.
Okay, Danielle made the motion and Louis seconded the motion to table. Call the vote, please.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item's tabled. We will now recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item 13 is the consent docket. The Accept the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held January 19th, 2021. Approve and ratify claims and expenditures FY 2020-2021 in the amount of $299,007.28.
Motion approved.
Second.
We've had a motion and a second. Call the vote, please.
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. We will recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and convene a special meeting of the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting.
Would you call the roll, please?
Danielle McKenzie.
Here.
Jason Blair, Melissa Hunt,
Here.
Glenn Lewis, Adam Webb, Mark Ham,
Here.
Louis Williams.
Here.
And item 15 is just a companion item to items 5 and 12, so recommend that we table this.
I make a motion that we table item 15.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Not, would you call the roll, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Motion passes. At this time, we'll recess the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting and reconvene the city council meeting.
All right, just let the record reflect that everybody that was present for the council meeting is still here. Item 16 is new business, citizens forum, items not on the agenda. Is there anyone here that'd like to speak? No? Items from city council or trustees?
I have one question. I was recently asked if we planned on having any kind of like virtual job fairs. I know it's something we did pre-COVID, and I didn't know that we were planning on doing anything like that in the spring for more businesses, partnering with the chamber or anything like that, if there was something going on that I didn't know about. I don't have to have an answer. I'm just throwing that out there as a suggestion if there's not one planned.
I haven't heard about that, but I'll
Okay.
look into it.
Okay, perfect.
Are we done with the debris cleanup? I mean, I've noticed, or go ahead and answer that.
The, using the outside contractors, we're completed with that, and so anyone that still has any of the limb debris or anything like that, they just need to call Public Works and schedule a big trash pickup, and we'll come and get it.
Okay. Brooks, could you have somebody look along the river walk over by McAllister's and then the restaurant on the east side of the river walk? There's trees down, maybe they're on private, but it looks like it's on the right of way.
Okay, sure.
Just check that out. Okay, item C would be items from the city trust manager.
I'd like Fire Chief Craig Herbster to come up and give a brief update.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Vice Mayor and Council, I just wanted to update you on our awesome relationship we have with Norman Regional Health System and Amstead, our ambulance provider. We're very blessed in the city of Moore to have such a great ambulance provider. Throughout this last year, with all the COVID issues, they have been spot on, keeping their staffing up, making the response times in their allotted time. We have not lacked in service from them. But with that being said, I just wanted to update you on that because they have done an outstanding job. I don't know if everyone's seen the news with other municipalities dealing with some of the other ambulance providers and the lack of staffing, the long waits on response time. We have not suffered from that here. So we're very blessed to have the service that we have. But when the Norman Regional Health System saw the need to replace all their defibrillators, they also saw the benefit for the fire department to have new defibrillators that work alongside of theirs. So they gave us 6 new automatic defibrillators to put on our frontline rigs. Our other units were over 10 years old. These are state-of-the-art, all the new bells and whistles. But the benefit is substantial for the citizens, the patients. With these new defibrillators, from the time we arrive on the scene, we're normally first on the scene, and we hook up the defibrillators. The doctors will be able to see all the information from that patient from the time we apply the defibs throughout the totality of their treatment through the hospital. So the whole health system is now issued sole defibrillators, so us will be the first on the scene. And when we switch it over to the ambulance service and the paramedics, they have an upgraded version. Then when they get to the ER, you'll be able to go back and review all that information and see what happened, what was going on with the patient from the time that was applied until they're through with their treatment in the emergency room. So
Pretty cool.
big thanks to Norman Regional for
Yeah.
supplying us with that, and it's a great benefit to the citizens here.
We definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Norman Regional.
That's all I've got.
Okay, that would bring us to item 17, adjournment.
So moved.
Second. Had a motion and a second. Call the vote.
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.